Alright. Alright. Hold on. Let me blend mode this. Screen. That should be better. Okay. Hello. Hello, YouTube. We're doing the Mr. Beast video today. So, part 1 was already done on Twitch. I recorded it. We're gonna be doing part 2 today. So, hopefully you join in. Fuck, I'm used to doing this on Twitch, man. I hope that, you'll be patient with me. I only have one screen. And I'm gonna do a short recap for you right quick. So, in part 1, we went over the Ava Chris Tyson situation. Okay. And we did cover some stuff on the Beast games with Rosanna Pansino. Okay. Now, we also found out I already had prior knowledge that Dogpack 404 was not corroborating correct evidence. He was essentially pulling a bowblax or a mamamax, just, lacking the proper research, and when people told him not to release the video, he went and did it anyway, because he was so impatient, and I really feel like it was a clout thing too. But we found out that he also has Rosanna Pansino on his team. And we found out from Nick DiOrio last night. I did message Nick DiOrio on Twitter. To see if I could, get some information from a trusted source. I don't know if we'll have that yet. I am adjusting my playlist as needed as new shit comes out. Because I want to be able to, have nuance to this situation. Hold on. I want to have nuance to the situation. I want to be able to have all the facts. And I can't have all the facts if, somebody's lying about shit and we don't know. So, if I get a message from Nick DiOrio, I'll make a future video on that. But other than that, there's not much I can do other than go to the commentary community and get my videos from them. So, yeah. That's kind of where we stand right now. Right now, when I ended stream yesterday, I was so tired because I was streaming for 9 hours. We were watching Fox Akimbo talk about the people who spoke out. Apparently, from what I've gathered, Jake Weddle also has his own issues that need to be looked at. So we need to take a look at that from both perspectives as well. I'm going to restart the Fox Akimbo video so that everybody can get up to speed on where I'm at. But yeah, that's where we're sitting right now. That is where we're sitting. I'm not going to go over the Rosanna Pansino part because we already know everything that she said. And honestly, I skipped through it on the part 1. So we're going to get into that. Let me go over here. Get my screen capture up and running again. Alright. Let's do this. Let's see how this does.
on Mr. Beast within a video titled, "I worked for Mr. Beast, he's a sociopath." If you want a full recounting of his story, you could watch that one, or his recent videos on his time at the company. I don't want to linger too long on his story because he tells it better and in much more detail than I ever could, but he claims that about 2 years ago, he was meant to be in a Mr. Beast video titled $10,000 Every Day You Survive in Prison. If you've seen this video, you would know that a guy called Josh was the contestant. However, as evidenced by this behind the scenes image, Jake was at one point in there. Based upon his orange jumpsuit, I think that we can take his word that he was at one point featuring in this video. Now, he claims that the treatment he received was entirely unfair. He was making $10,000 a day, but claims to have greatly suffered because of his time in there.
The incident is
by this behind the scenes image, Jake was at one point in there. Based upon his orange jumpsuit, I think that we can take his word that he was at one point featuring in this video.
Okay, hold on. There we go. Now we got it. My apologies. I don't know why I wouldn't show it first. But now we know.
Now, he claims that the treatment he received was entirely unfair. He was making
You already said that.
$10,000 a day, but claims to have greatly suffered because of his time in there. He claims that they never once turned the lights off so that they could get time-lapse shots of him sleeping. There was an ice cream machine that stank when it was turned off and was consistently churning loudly when it was on, and on one of the days he was forced to run a marathon despite not being an athletic person and being horribly sleep deprived on account of the lights always being on. This was apparently a violation of the Geneva Convention, which
Ha! Ha! Hold on, chat. Geneva Convention definition. A set of international treaties that establish the rules for how civilians and soldiers should be treated during wartime, to protect people who are not or no longer directly involved in hostilities, such as civilians, prisoners of war, the wounded and sick, and shipwrecked people. Prohibit acts such as murder, mutilation, torture, and taking hostages during war. Jake, were you in a war? Were you in a war, buddy? I don't think so.
Which is wild to say. Mr. Beast violating the Geneva Convention was not on my 2024 bingo card.
I go up to my friend,
Yeah, he didn't violate the Geneva Convention. Let's just be honest. By definition, he did not violate the Geneva Convention.
my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists.
Okay, the United Nations considers it a war crime, which is understandable. So yes, I get where he's coming from, but he wasn't a soldier. He was not in the war, or a war, to be frank. Now this would count as torture, but you have to really look at the facts. Hold on. Is sleep deprivation violating against the Geneva Convention? It is outlawed by the Geneva Convention. In international law. So yeah, internationally, yeah. I get that now. I'm learning as you guys are learning.
Eventually, this all got too much, and the video apparently took a dark turn, with Jake getting out early. The video was therefore scrapped, but later revived, and the contestant was changed to Josh. Jake then alleged some more things within his responses. He claims that he wasn't liked at the company because he wasn't a yes man. He claims that he was fired alongside a fellow employee because he asked for a change of salary. And perhaps most damning was that he claimed that Jimmy is a wolf in sheep's clothing, trying to come off as charitable and philanthropic when he actually thinks less of the poor.
My other good friend told me that when I got the money, Jimmy said, "Why is he mad? That's more money than he'll ever see in his life." I know how this guy thinks of the poor. I know how this guy uses the poor. Because that's what he thought of me.
Some people think that it's ironic what happened next though, as they think that after saying all of that, Jake had been bought out by Jimmy. According to Jake, Jimmy privately reached out and apologized, asking if there was anything that could be done to make amends.
When it comes to me, Jimmy personally apologized. And he offered me money I wasn't comfortable accepting. But the understanding is he made an attempt to make it right, and I appreciated that. And that was all I needed. But I also got a little bit of change that I felt a little more comfortable taking, and the ability to stay true to myself and exist on this platform. And that, to me, is worth $1 gajillion.
He offered Jake the rest of the money that was meant to be spent on his video,
Okay.
$190,000. Jake refused that sum, but asked for $50,000 instead to pay off his debts. Some people think that this was therefore just for clout, or that his integrity is now compromised. Others, of course, think that provided he...
My issue with Jake Weddle so far is, from what I've seen on Twitter publicly, he is backing Dogpack and Rosanna, which I don't think is the right move. I feel like somebody else should be the spearhead in all of this.
He still speaks out. His payment is nothing more than righting a wrong. So what do you think? But from one Jake to another, let's now discuss one of his most controversial enemies, that being Jake the Viking. Just to jog your memories in case you didn't see my Ava Chris Tyson or first MrBeast video, Jake the Viking used to be a part of MrBeast in the late 2010s when the channel was really beginning to kick into gear. But he was later let go because, in his words, his piece no longer fit the puzzle. While he initially came out to say that there were no hard feelings, especially over the past year or so, Jake the Viking has been one of the channel's biggest critics. And in the fallout of these allegations, he's never missed an opportunity.
But Jake also knew about Ava Chris Tyson, though.
To condemn MrBeast. He said that Jimmy knew that Ava had groomed minors. He mentioned that the community notes on Jimmy's response to Ava was taken down suspiciously quickly, and he thinks that MrBeast or someone at the company have lied or fabricated details. However, once it was revealed that Delaware was his brother-in-law, the tide quickly began to turn against Jake. To quickly summarize his post about it, he stated that Delaware took a plea deal after being accused of SA by a 16-year-old. According to Jake, this incident would have taken place 5 years prior when she was 11 years old, back in 2010. He also revealed that Delaware was actually hired before he was, and was the reason why Jake got hired at all. He claims that Delaware was put in a video reluctantly, but since they needed numbers, he agreed to do it. He wore the mask on his own request. Jake finishes the post by saying that he believes in Delaware's innocence, and that he's always been a good husband and father to his sister.
This is complicated as fuck. It really is. If you are a registered, SO, if you're a registered offender, and you got the charges, then, and your own brother-in-law has confirmed that, I mean, why defend the guy? He shouldn't be around kids. He shouldn't have kids. That's like Nicki Minaj's husband, right? He should not be around children. He has a kid. And he should not be around children. He also violated his house arrest too, and did not register when he moves to a different state.
And nieces, respectively. Apparently, Delaware's charges are set to be dropped this autumn. Now, in response, people passionately called out Jake for his handling of the situation.
The charges are supposed to be dropped this autumn. Okay? I want the proof of that.
Jake had previously been ardent in calling Ava out for the Discord chats and the purchasing of Shabman's art, even calling Jimmy complicit. But the fact that he knew that Delaware, someone who's on the register, actually worked at Mr. Beast and continues to defend him means that in many people's eyes, he's just as bad, if not worse, than Jimmy. The responses were fairly ruthless.
Yeah.
The strange thing here though, and something that was picked up by a community note, was that Jake's claims are also not consistent. Here, he's fairly passionate about how Delaware is innocent, saying, "I firmly believe he did nothing wrong." However, after Turkey Tom called him out, saying that it was funny that Jake was saying all this, considering he had such skeletons in his own closet, Jake stated, "So just because I know someone who did something bad and was convicted means I can't call out others for doing bad?" This is contradictory in itself though, because if...
Okay, but that means that you were okay with your brother-in-law doing this shit, but you weren't okay with Ava Chris Tyson. It smells like hypocrisy to me. It smells like hypocrisy to me.
Jake truly believes that Delaware is innocent, then he didn't do anything bad, did he? In fact, you might even say that he's a victim. It's tough to say where Jake truly lies on this because his responses are inconsistent. Does he actually think that Delaware is innocent? Or does he think that Delaware did it, but because it was 14 years ago and he's since been punished, atoned, and moved on, Jake thinks that it should no longer matter? Whatever the case, in the eyes of many, these new revelations have made it so that Jake's testimonies can no longer be trusted. And so This is one enemy of Mr. Beast's who probably won't be too much of a threat, especially considering that Jimmy didn't even have to reply to him for Jake's words to be disregarded by large sums of the internet. Of course, he still has his supporters, but their numbers have greatly diminished since the truth came out. Let's move on to another...
I mean, you fucked up big time, bro. You fucked up. You fucked up big time.
Person that could be considered to be in opposition to Jimmy. This is yet another person who's also received a lot of flack since coming out, that being Jimmy's ex-girlfriend, Maddie Spittle.
I don't care who you are.
On the 8th of August 2024, Mr. Beast's ex-girlfriend, named Maddie Spittle, made a post to her Instagram story where she finally weighed in on Jimmy. She went as far as tagging YouTube, saying, "You need to reevaluate who you're putting on the trending page."
Okay.
She went on to say that she had spent years being silent, and that she didn't want any drama, but did want to speak up for her 19-year-old self. A lot of this post is quite cryptic, but you can pause the video now if you want to take a look at the full thing. Anyway, towards the end she states, "I believe I should be used as a cautionary tale. If something is too good to be true, it probably is. How he treats other women will ultimately be how he treats you. You are smart, beautiful, and capable of a career, life, and relationship you are proud of." She reiterated that this wasn't meant to be a takedown, but then said that there are some scary people out there that want to hurt you, use you, and spit you out, saying that we should protect our friends, mums.
Yeah, but that's kind of a blanket statement. I'm not saying, I'm not invalidating her claims. Because, we haven't seen the full portion of her section yet. But that is kind of a vague statement.
Wives, sisters, and daughters, telling people to speak up. Now, a lot of people were quite upset with this response because it's shrouded in enigma. Maddie says a lot without actually saying much, and it's tough to decide.
It's a nothing burger.
For what she means because she refuses to get into details. She would respond to people's criticism on Twitter within a post where she said that she didn't need to say anything. It seems as though she really doesn't care for the spotlight that's speaking about this casted on her, with Maddie privating her Twitter shortly after this post. However, for the most part, because we don't know the specifics of what she's talking about, it's tough to analyse it. The line about his treatment of women, alongside specifically mentioning female family members in the last paragraph, might be alluding to perhaps sexism or misogyny on his part, but since the post is indirect and vague, all I can do is speculate. Keep in mind that as his ex-girlfriend, these posts could be motivated by vengeance. We don't know what happened between the two of them in the final stages of their relationship.
I really wish she would have been more specific. I wish she would have talked about it more, but you can't expect something from a person who just randomly speaks up. You don't know if they're going to say something specific or vague. But I really feel like the vagueness was, a low blow, and that, she should have been more detailed in what she was talking about, in all honesty. I mean, what else is there to say?
To add to that, it definitely doesn't seem as though Maddie's going to shed any light on it, so maybe Jimmy did something awful which caused the two to break up, and her criticism of him comes from something that he did. Or maybe it was a more mutual breakup, or perhaps even she was at fault, but she's now decided to come out and get her licks in whilst the Mr. Beast brand and Jimmy's public image are as vulnerable as they've ever been. And I think it's time to discuss the man that made his public image vulnerable in the first place. This video wouldn't be possible without Dogpack 404. Just like Jake Weddle, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I've already discussed Dogpack 404 at length. But with his two Mr. Beast videos accumulating over 25 million views, Dogpack has really been the one leading the charge against Jimmy. A rogue ex-employee, he first rose to prominence after making a Twitter video saying that the Ava Chris Tyson stuff was just the tip of the iceberg.
It still pisses me off to no end that Dogpack fucked the entire fucking situation up. He really did. He really fucking did. He fucked that whole situation up, and I really wish that he hadn't. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We can only do so much. I guess I'll put it here. Not trying to hide chat, you know what I mean?
And he was completely correct. Over the past month or so, his claims and actions have put the Mr. Beast brand in serious jeopardy. He was the one to bring forward the accusations of Mr. Beast faking giveaways, faking several videos, illegal lotteries, the manipulation of child psychology, hiring friends as extras, having charities as a front, the raccoon as a hired actor. He gave Jake Weddle a platform to speak out, and therefore it was in his video where the Delaware scandal was revealed. If anyone, he is Mr. Beast's arch nemesis.
However, he fucked up a lot of shit.
As I said, I only wanted to briefly cover him here, especially since I spoke about him in both my first video on Mr. Beast and my video on Ava, so you probably know him and what he's done already. But it would be impossible to speak about the enemies of Mr. Beast without discussing Dawson. But moving on from perhaps the most high-profile case to now one of the more lesser-known ones, let's discuss a guy called Ty. I'm not too sure how to pronounce his surname. It could be Ore, or Aura. Either way, I'm just gonna call him Ty. But the long and short of it is that Ty claims that Mr. Beast hired him for a fake position, stole his ideas, let go of him, and gave him nothing in return.
Okay.
So let's talk about that.
What's up, y'all? It's OJ.
On the 10th of August 2024, Ty uploaded a video titled, "I worked for Mr. Beast, he's a thief. To walk you through this video, Ty revealed that in February this year, the MrBeast company reached out to him to state that he could potentially be hired by the company if he wanted to work for them. However, Ty alleges that this was actually a fake job, and that after working tirelessly for them at a trial, his ideas were taken and he was dismissed. He shows his personal Facebook posts throughout this video, with all of the posts he made timestamped back to February. For him to go through all of the work to fake this would be quite impressive. I'm therefore inclined to believe that at the very least, the beginning of his story is true. He was contacted by the MrBeast company. He's very upfront with the fact that he has receipts, and that he's more than willing to turn over every piece of evidence in order to make sure that people believe what he's saying.
So now we're gonna get into like the more just deep in the details
I'm willing to listen.
here. So like I said, if I don't show proof, don't assume that I'm telling the truth. If I don't show proof for everything that I'm saying, assume that I'm literally lying about everything that I'm saying, okay?
He went on to say that as a recruitment task, he was told to come up with ideas that could be implemented within potential MrBeast video prompts. There was one about spending $1 billion in 24 hours, and then one about the world's most dangerous trap room. Ty decided to choose the most dangerous trap room prompt, and then wrote his ideas for what kind of things could be featured within that video. He sent this over, and would later be invited to MrBeast Studios by recruitment to see if he would make a good fit. Apparently, the team were working on ideas for an upcoming video, the world's deadliest obstacle course, and this was when Ty had an idea. He thought to take his concept from the trap room prompt and see if people wanted to use it in this. Ty claims that after working late, he pitched these ideas, and they went over very well with the higher-ups. These people absolutely loved his concepts, and were excited to take them forward. However, after he flew back home, he received an email stating that he would not be getting the job since the company was restructuring things at the time. According to Ty, this would be deceit, as when MrBeast announced on Twitter that the obstacle course had been released, Ty realized that his ideas had been stolen by the company. If you take a look at the screenshot of his drawing, it looks eerily similar to the final product. Ty claims that he was never compensated for this. He gave over these ideas under the pretense of a job offer, when in reality, he thinks that no such job ever existed. Ty thought this entire thing was especially strange because it wasn't just him, there were a bunch of people that were apparently trying out for a job at the MrBeast studio. So how could the recruitment be so certain that there would be plenty of jobs to go around so that they would invite probably dozens of people, groups of people it's described in Ty's video, to go around and see if they fit in, to give over their best ideas in the hopes of landing one of these jobs, and then only a few days later, these jobs just didn't exist. Then, a couple of months later, an idea thought up by one of these recruits was the hook to a new video. If this happened to Ty, who else did it happen to? Especially for a brand as large as MrBeast, if this is true and they did use his ideas and design without paying him anything, it's very shady, and it's yet another devastating hit to the brand's public image. Dogpack404 would then come out on Twitter to say that it's likely that MrBeast did in fact steal Ty's ideas, saying that he regularly does this without giving compensation or credit. Now, I would be remiss not to mention that Ty's video has been met with some backlash, because at the end, he decides to plug a GoFundMe, one that was able to rack up a few $100s before Ty took it down and refunded the donators. Many people within the comment section of Ty's video were saying that the GoFundMe, which had a goal of $1.7 million by the way, as that was the budget for this idea, was a money-grabbing move, and proved that Ty was only trying to make bank off the situation. And these people weren't entirely wrong either, as Ty himself said that he wanted to make some money because of this, or rather, that he wanted to be compensated for his contribution to a video that
it's complicated because yes, it was a money-grabbing decision, but also we also have to remember he didn't get paid for any of this. And yeah, it deserves some backlash because that was kind of a dick move, but at the same time, do you really think that if he was telling the truth, MrBeast would have paid him at this point? No. No. I look at this and I see both sides of it. It looks like he was very much like, if I don't show you proof, then don't believe me, which is a really good, That's a really good way to look at it.
This is now sitting at around 200 million views. In response to the GoFundMe backlash, type into comment to the video saying that every penny would be refunded and that it was a boneheaded move with no ill intent. However, this decision has led many people to now be skeptical of where his true intentions lie. Whether or not you think this move has compromised his message, I'm happy for you to draw your own conclusion, as now we turn our attention to an emerging enemy of Mr. Beast.
Okay.
She's just the latest in a long line of influencers who have now broken their silence. Her name is Nicole Raffi.
Okay.
Hey, it's Richard here, and
On the 12th of August 2024, a new gladiator would enter the arena, one that would throw her spear directly into the heart of the limping lion that was Mr. Beast's reputation.
Okay.
It would now be Nicole Raffi's turn to speak out. Within the 22nd episode of her podcast, Talk Nasty, she and her friend Jake revealed that they were both in a Mr. Beast video.
Is that fucking Jake Paul? Is that fucking Jake Paul?
In fact, they were in his second most popular video of all time, Last Elite Circle Wins $500,000.
It's not Jake Paul, chat. He just looks a lot like young Jake Paul.
Participating as part of Team Yellow. Within this podcast, they really spill the tea. Firstly, they corroborated someone else's allegations against Jimmy. As it turns out, they alleged that when they were part of this video, it was actually taking place at the same time as Jake Weddle's solitary confinement.
What the fuck?
What Jake and I were kind of like realizing while we were watching this were that we knew about all these situations that were happening.
Because we were like basically there.
Nicole and Jake's testimonies add legitimacy to his claims that he was being unfairly treated, because somehow, apparently the news of his deterioration spread to the contestants on that set.
There was this whole story that he told about how on his like 20th day or something like that, he was really struggling mentally, and they decided to put him on a treadmill to run a marathon, even though he had never trained for a marathon, and he was like running until 3 a.m. and like blisters on his feet and everything, and he just basically was really suffering mentally and like had to like exit.
Well, damn.
We knew about that. We were told about that situation.
I think he was doing that marathon the day that we went into the circle.
Because we were told about that, like, yeah, there's a guy who's like literally doing a marathon right now. Like, he is not well. Like, he is not doing well. And that video never came out. And I was like, where the fuck is that video? Like, I remember thinking that afterwards. I mean, like, where did that video go? And he confirmed in that expose video, he was like, yeah, they scrapped it. They had to do a completely other
because it went
video
so poorly
because it went so
him.
bad, and because he was clearly suffering mentally so bad, and he didn't even get to win the full what was it, $300,000.
They were also skeptical of the first contestant that was eliminated. As it turns out, this contestant was Mac. You might know him from being in other Mr. Beast videos.
Interesting.
He's well known to be in with both Jimmy and Arak. And after choosing to be eliminated first, he was gifted a brand new car.
I was worried that it was going to be more so a physical challenge, because I don't think that I could have handled as much of a physical challenge, because there were many very...
This is insane. I need to see Nicole Raffi's stuff. Hi! Hello! How are you today? Yeah, we're going over everything. This is part 2. I did part 1 on Twitch. This is my first ever stream on YouTube. But since I already did a part 1, might as well do a part 2. I'm looking at this from all perspectives. So, in part 1, we went over the Ava Chris Tyson situation. We went over Dog Pack 404 and how he's pulling a mamamax and a bowblax, because 1, he's not doing the proper research on the people that he's trying to incriminate, and 2, he's not listening to his community that's telling him, like, don't put these videos out until you get your freedom of information requests, shit like that. I also found out in real time that Rosanna Pansino is working with Dogpack. So we will get to that. I got a lyrics video, and I've got some other videos in here. I think there's a Nick Diorio video in this playlist. If you have any info about, if you have any videos that you like about the situation that are, you know, have good information that I can look into, you're welcome to send them and I'll put them in the playlist. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. Right now I'm going over. Okay, that's fine. But I'm trying to see what are legitimate accusations against Mr. Beast. Now, mind you, I don't like Mr. Beast, but we have to look at this with nuance and an open perspective. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little pissed at Rosanna Pansino. Not gonna hold you. But if you like reaction content, if you like, you know, kind of commentary type videos, sit back, relax, grab your snacks. And if you have any thoughts on this, I'm willing to hear them. Just be patient with me. I only have one screen. So that's all I ask. Let's get back to the video.
Strong, ripped, huge buff guys that were in the group, which turned out are like a lot of them like friends and reoccurring guests in this Minecraft server.
Yeah. So we're like in there like the first few, I'd say like first 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that guy Mac decide like.
Mr. Beast basically gave an incentive that the first person to get out would receive something.
Yes.
They would receive something. And for some reason, this guy Mac decides to step out first. He decides to get out of the circle first. And what does he win? A car.
Like, I don't think if, you know, we got out first, we would be getting a car.
Did we know at the time that they were friends? Was he filming?
I didn't know that.
He was filming with Eric, I think.
No, I think Eric was filming his own thing.
Yeah, but I think Mac,
but they were talking, like they were like together.
It just seemed very convenient.
Yeah.
And that is what one of the guys, was it Jake Whittle who mentioned that, or Dog Man or whatever?
This was something mentioned by Dogpack within his initial Mr. Beast video, that being that a lot of people who are in these challenges are friends and family members of Mr. Beast.
And we've already spoken that apparently some of the guests had COVID and couldn't make it. And so that's why they had these people fill in last minute. Mind you, that's still yet, either side is still yet to be believed. But due to Dogpack's lack of research, I'm more inclined to believe the latter. Because he does this shit all the time. Why are they in a bathtub? I don't know. They do their podcast weird. I think it's supposed to be for ambiance and like spookiness because they have the little moonlight. But I don't know. I've never heard of this person.
Mac, of course, has been in videos with Eric and Mr. Beast since. So perhaps Nicole and Jake's conspiracy theory is right, and that if someone else had eliminated themselves first, someone that Mr. Beast didn't know, their prize would have been much smaller. Nonetheless, Nicole and Jake would continue to spill the tea.
Especially when a lot of the people that he does include in videos, because he does always say, like, I had 100 random subscribers. Like, it is not random. It is not random whatsoever, because a good chunk are reoccurring people. A good chunk are people who he knows, like on personal friends.
People who production knows. Yeah. People who have a following.
Or friends of friends of friends, which is like literally like our situation. Yeah. Like I'm gonna be completely honest. I was not a subscriber of Mr. Beast before I did that. I didn't watch Mr. Beast videos. I was not a random subscriber that got randomly chosen.
Oh wow, you weren't even subscribed to the channel? And you got picked?
To be in a Mr. Beast video.
The pair continue by revealing that though they were allegedly told that they'd be compensated for every day spent in isolation because this video was shot during the back end of COVID, they then went on to claim that initially they were not paid for their days in quarantine, with staff allegedly saying that there was never any promised compensation. Only after many people spoke out about it were they granted an extra $1,000 each. Considering a lot of people were missing out on work for this, and the quarantine was 5 days, this would definitely eat into their winnings if they were eliminated early. But speaking of bias and quarantining, the two then made the claim that they believe that Eric, who was also a part of this video, did not isolate.
Only to find out that Iraq, quite literally, there is no possible way for him to be quarantining those 5 days prior to the shooting of everything, because he was recording at a music festival that happened, that just ended
during our,
like, the day before the first day of shooting. So it is
what the fuck?
Quite literally impossible that he was quarantining for those 5 days. If anything, he was actually around a greater amount of people. And at the time, like,
that's fucking insane. Mr. Beast drama. I mean, Mr. Beast drama, yeah. Mr. Breast drama. I mean, yeah. Yeah. But, you know, it has to be talked about. It does. Wow. I didn't mean to do that. Can we not fuck with my overlays, please? I had it in the perfect spot. Leave it alone. God damn it.
I believe the rules with everything was that it had to wait 5 to 14 days for symptoms to occur.
They continued by saying that while they did believe that he was tested, the clear favoritism that Iraq was shown was unfair. If other contestants were threatened with disqualification if they broke quarantine rules, how was it fair if one wasn't? If this is true, then it's really not a good look. And it feeds back into Dawson's accusations of playing favourites, of rigging the competition, and having reserved spots for Mr. Beast's friends, while saying that contestants are chosen at random. Furthermore, they then spoke about withholding medication, which was also exposed by the New York Times at the start of the month. Nicole's experience sounded very similar to the test.
Okay, there is one clarification I have to make to the whole Beast Game shit. The New York Times was very thorough in backing their shit. Rosanna Pansino exaggerated a lot of things, like the broken bones and things like that. However, I still feel like the Beast Games needs a better medical crew, a larger production staff, and safer regulations. That's just me.
Testimonies detailed by the Times.
Carl gave me my birth control.
Oh my god.
Mr. Beast withheld my birth control. I got a lot of, like...
We were trying to flag down production. We were like, hey, like, anyone, hey. And Carl comes over and you're like, okay.
A lot of people laughed at me in my Mr. Beast video being like, that's the medication you needed, birth control? I'm like,
it's because they're 12. They don't know what birth control is.
I have ovarian cysts. You can't just stop taking birth control. You can't just stop taking hormonal medication out of the blue, out of nowhere.
If you can remember, the Times stated that people's medications were withheld by the staff on the set of Beast Games, Mr. Beast's new Amazon show. As I said in my last video, I want to reiterate that when it comes to medication, that is completely irrelevant to challenges.
You should not be withholding medications from people.
People insulin, or in Nicole's case, birth control, will not give them an unfair advantage on the rest of the competition.
Yeah.
All that said, a lot of people are gunning for Jimmy right now.
Yeah, no. Dog, is this literally like Predator year? I mean, it is looking like that. There's literally like 10 YouTubers exposed as a predator or something. It does look like that. We don't know if Jimmy himself is a predator yet. I'll go into the whole thing with Dogpack and Rosanna falsely reporting Jimmy to the FBI. We know Ava is a predator. We know that Delaware, Jake the Viking's brother-in-law, is a registered SO. But as far as Jimmy himself, that is yet to be concluded. Which I will get into videos on why Rosanna Pansino and Dogpack 404's allegation sent to the FBI was false. We will get into that. I've been scouring the fucking internet since last night. So, we will get into it.
Some of whom have put quite a lot on the line to do it. Time will only tell whether or not what they've had to say will actually make a difference. If you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't.
Thank you, Fox Akimbo. You missed Matt Turner. We are definitely going to make sure that we get to Matt Turner. She is taking birth control because of ovarian cysts. Which I do the same thing, so I get that. He exploited Jake's debt to hush him up. But Jake is also going through a really weird moment right now, and he is defending Dogpack, which is something that is putting him under a lot of flack. Alright, next video is Sunny V2. Every Mr. Beast member who got fired and why. Alright. I will if you delete that stupid girl who was talking too much. What, Nicole Raffi? Oh, we're not gonna see her again. I don't think.
Already.
There are 9 Mr. Beast crew members who have either been publicly fired or have disappeared.
We know why Sneeko got fired. Let's just be honest.
Without explanation, and we're going to talk about all of them, beginning with Matt Turner, who had one of the more controversial endings to his time working with Mr. Beast.
Okay.
Matt Turner was initially hired as an editor for Mr. Beast back in 2018, yet only 5 months after getting hired, Matt would upload a video to his personal channel titled Why I Quit Working for Mr. Beast, in which he'd explained that he was no longer on the team. Matt would then go on to praise Mr. Beast, talking about how much he enjoyed the job.
This was a dream job for so long. Going to work was a blast each and every day. Mr. Beast paid for my rent every month when I lived in North Carolina. Me and Mr. Beast, I still consider friends. Never got in any fights. No one did anything wrong in this situation. If you're watching this, Mr. Beast, I love you, bro.
However, despite ending his message by stating that he loved Mr. Beast, approximately 1 year and 2 months later, Matt Turner would take to Twitter stating the following. I'm not going to make a video about my time editing for Mr. Beast, but I will say that it was the most mentally draining time of my life. I was yelled at, bullied, and called replaceable by Mr. Beast every day. Being in tears and having mental breakdowns day after day is difficult, and after
That's such a 180.
a while it became too much. After every editing mistake I made, I was made to feel like an absolute idiot. So that's a summary of almost...
That kind of goes over what we saw in the document. We did watch a couple of Rosanna Pansino videos before I found out she was working with Dogpack and spreading misinformation, but she did have a document, an employee document. And a lot of what was said kind of matches up with how this tweet is being released.
Every day on the team. That's what it was like to work for Mr. Beast, and that is why I don't work there now. While Matt might have thought that his Mr. Beast call-out would command a bunch of respect and sympathy, the opposite of this happened, and everyone instead began to stick up for Mr. Beast. I think people are jumping to conclusions with this Mr. Beast stuff. If this editor really was harassed like that, wouldn't he have spoken up sooner? He's one of the most famous...
You know how obsessive Jimmy is, though. He literally did pay off Jake Weddle's debt just so that they were on good terms.
YouTubers, so it would have been easy to start accusing him. I think the bullying is just over-exaggerated. So basically, Mr. Beast's editor is a kid who hasn't experienced the real working world, so throws a tantrum and starts slamming Mr. Beast with unsupported allegations the moment it gets tough. Kids these days. Bruh, this was 1 year ago, why are you coming at him now? Keemstar would point out the most obvious flaw with Matt's Twitter thread.
I just find it very strange that he's coming out saying all this negative stuff about Mr. Beast when a year ago, when he actually left, he uploaded a video saying it was the greatest time of his life.
Whilst others came
That is a very good point. He has a very good point.
forward stating that they had a great time working with Mr. Beast.
I've known Mr. Beast for over 3 years now, and I was helping him with graphics for his channel. I don't even have one experience of him being mean or disgruntled to me in any way. He was always very kind and very nice.
Which was once again echoed by Keemstar.
I talked to one of his employees, and he seemed like he loved working for him, and Mr. Beast seemed like a really cool, genuine guy.
Things became even worse for Matt after Mr. Beast had a phone call with Keemstar.
And what Mr. Beast told me is basically like when they fired him or whatever, they gave him $10,000 and they got him a job at SOAR.
And shortly thereafter, Matt deleted the tweets and was even brave enough to claim that his Twitter had been hacked. Despite basically being laughed off the internet, Matt Turner continues to upload van life videos, one of which including a pretty weak apology to Mr. Beast.
If anyone was offended by me saying that that wasn't the best experience, well then I do apologize.
With the whole ordeal being summarized by YouTuber prison mate Luke.
What did you gain from it, really? A little bit of clout from the beginning. You destroyed any chance of you having an actual YouTube career, and all of those views went away immediately. And now you're just forever tainted with the fact that you're just the guy that lied about Mr. Beast.
However, Matt Turner wasn't the only person to try and expose Mr. Beast before having it backfire terribly. Back in 2018, Fly Does YT uploaded a video titled My Experience Editing for Mr. Beast, Worst Week of My Life, in which he'd foolishly accused Mr. Beast of faking the content before going on to make the bizarre point that Mr. Beast didn't even appear in the videos.
What? Excuse me? No, this stream... No more yapping session. No, this stream should be called Mr. Beast Exposed 111 Very Real 111. Nah, I'm not that kind of YouTuber. I don't clickbait my shit. Like, at all. I've been on YouTube since its inception. Not like as a content creator, but as a viewer. I've watched so many people fall down the tubes. I'm not, like, I am making sure that I get both sides of this. Like, through the whole reaction and shit, I'm making sure. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now.
When you make a YouTube video for your channel, you should, we'll go film your video without you. That's cool, yeah.
The claims were so outrageous that Mr. Beast himself took to Twitter before stating, "If you think I'm faking my videos, then ask the streamer to whom I gave hundreds of thousands of dollars when they get them. Go and ask somebody who got part of the $500,000 that I gave away this year when they got it. You will not find a person who said I did not give them any money." These tweets were followed by Mr. Beast appearing on Drama Alert, where he'd explain the situation from his perspective.
I paid for his plane ticket, his Uber, his hotel for a week, his Uber, and his plane ticket, which he made a 25-minute quote-unquote exposing video on me, but doesn't mention that I spent thousands of dollars getting him here, paid him $750 for like 5 days worth of work, which is really good pay. He has all these issues, quote-unquote, but he doesn't say any of them to me while he's here. He doesn't talk to me while he's here. He just bundles it all up so he can make this 25-minute video and blow everything out of proportion when he gets home.
I mean... Who is telling the truth in this situation?
Before going on to absolutely destroy the claims that his videos were fake.
My videos aren't fake. Like, I counted to 100,000. I watched Dance to Your Dead for, whatever. I give streamers $30,000. It's just slander from his part.
Whilst providing an explanation for why he wasn't able to fully appear in one of the videos.
I have Crohn's disease. Most of you don't know what it is. It was really acting up. So I said, hey, you guys go film the rest of the video. I want to go nap. I got to take it easy. Now he's making an exposed video like, oh, Mr. Beast doesn't film his own videos. Like, what are you going on about, man? You're trying to pin the fact that I have an illness on me, and like, I'm not public about this type of stuff.
Which once again prompted a former employee to come out stating, as someone who is friends with both Mr. Beast and Fly, it is my unbiased opinion that Fly is in the wrong.
I had a high school classmate. Why am I the only one who's in this stream? Because this is my first YouTube stream, and most of my following for streams is on Twitch. That's why. So, I apologize in advance. It happens. But yeah, I had a high school classmate with Crohn's disease, so, they were struggling pretty hard. I do understand that physical illness gets in the way of shit. I'm not gonna sit there and say like, oh, it doesn't matter, because it's Mr. Beast, who gives a shit? If you have a debilitating illness, do something about it.
Unlike Matt Turner, Fly has since had a relatively successful career, having built a channel with over 300,000 subscribers, yet he hasn't been nearly as successful as Jake the Viking, who's been able to show that a peaceful ending with Mr. Beast is always the most beneficial path. Jake appeared on the Mr. Beast channel for the first time back in June 2018, as Jimmy required a strong character to include within the videos.
Can you dip this in the water tank for me? It's really heavy, but you're like a big boy.
At this point in time, the content was often quite physical, and therefore having Jake as a member of the team worked out perfectly. However, by early 2020, the content became less focused on physical challenges, and as a result, Jake began to appear in fewer and fewer videos. He'd be seen one last time in $60,000 Extreme Hide and Seek Challenge, which was followed by a comment to Jake's TikTok 2 months later asking, "Are you still working with Mr. Beast?" To which he'd...
Jake the Viking's brother-in-law... Oh, the Twitch is Gormagala Girl, just like my YouTube. It's the same handle. But I'm not streaming on Twitch right now. It's specifically YouTube. Jake the Viking's brother-in-law, Delaware, he confirmed is a registered SO. So yeah. He also has some fucking controversy in this.
Respond, lol, nah, they fired me. 9 days later, Jake will clarify this comment by uploading a now incredibly viral video titled Why I Left Mr. Beast, in which he'd explained why he'd been let go.
And it came down to my piece no longer fit the puzzle. If that's the best way to put it.
Before discussing how he wanted to leave anyway, so he could pursue content creation under his own name.
It was a mutual leaving. I'd already told him multiple times, you know, what I wanted to do was kind of be my own boss, do my own thing. Me and Jimmy did.
You forgot you deleted Twitch? Oh, damn. Damn.
Did not have any type of falling out, you know, so everything's cool. Mr. Beast still love you, bro.
Basically, he got tired of being an employee. He wanted to start his own brand, be his own boss, do his own thing, which is respectable. He didn't want to be just that guy on every Mr. Beast video. Good luck to you, Viking. Jake's peaceful ending in combination with his unique, recognizable image has helped him to maintain success even after leaving the team, having gained over 1 million subscribers on YouTube and over 2.5 million followers on TikTok.
Yeah, but she's still fucked up.
However, Jake the Viking wasn't the only person who eventually ran out of utility on the Mr. Beast team. For example, whatever happened to Ty, who was picked up on the side of the road for his first appearance in the world's largest bowl of cereal video.
You wanna come sit in a pool of cereal for 10K?
And with comments such as, Ty is such a cool guy, he needs to be in more challenges, he was able to return to the channel.
And then this is Ty from the cereal videos. You guys really liked him, so we brought him back.
Appearing in a total of 7 different videos before he'd also disappear. Considering Ty was picked up at random on the side of the street, he was never an official member of the Mr. Beast crew.
He was probably... People probably thought he went missing. Unless they watched Mr. Beast, you know? The way he was just picked up on the side of the road. Why does his t-shirt say butts? I have no idea.
Yet according to the wiki, Ty still works for Mr. Beast, but works mostly behind the scenes. Ty has since become a father and still maintains an Instagram following of over 28,000 and a TikTok following of over 80,000, on which he uploads music, comedy, and dancing videos. Tyler Conklin was another Mr. Beast member who disappeared from the videos without any explanation, and his disappearance is probably the most mysterious of them all. Tyler became the second Mr. Beast crew member after featuring on the channel for the first time in February 2016, when Mr. Beast had only 18,000 subscribers. From here, Tyler was featured in videos such as We Are Better Than Dude Perfect, which was followed by Tyler helping out Jimmy's brother, yet Tyler's final obvious appearance on the Mr. Beast channel was in I Opened a Restaurant That Pays You to Eat At It, where Jimmy jokingly fired him.
Get out of here! He suggested we charge money for the food. What? Get out of here! Go! I don't ever want to hear you guys talk about charging again.
While this was obviously just a meme for the video, it actually would become Tyler's final official appearance on the Mr.
Well, damn. I guess it was his last video. It's okay. Have a good day.
Beast channel. Honest question, after you suggested making people pay for the food in the restaurant video and Jimmy kicked you out, you were never in another video again. Did he fire you from being in more videos? Tyler did make a small cameo in Last to Leave the Circle Wins $500,000, as well as the Squid Game video where he apparently featured as one of the guards, and when you combine this information with his Instagram, on which he's often still seen with the crew, it's clear that Tyler hasn't been fired, but is rather working from behind the scenes.
They're moving people around.
Garrett eventually met a similar fate. He was first introduced to the channel back in May 2018 after the team cut his car in half, and from that point onwards he was a semi-regular in the Mr. Beast
He looked so heartbroken.
videos. In mid-2020, Garrett abandoned the channel to help out Mr. Beast's brother. However, as Mr. Bro began to upload fewer and fewer videos, Garrett also began to disappear from the internet. According to a reply on his Instagram, Garrett helps with social media stuff now, although he hasn't uploaded a TikTok or Instagram photo with the Mr. Beast crew in over 2 years, and claims to be studying at the University of Alabama, which is over 2 states away from the Mr. Beast headquarters in North Carolina.
Well, Jesus. Okay.
Perhaps Garrett is still working with the crew from a distance, however, it does seem as though their relationship simply ran its course and eventually fizzled out. But what if...
Yeah. Oh. Well, I meant day because it's morning where I'm at, but yeah, have a good night where you're at. My bad.
about Jake Weddle. He was another one of these guys who once featured in almost every MrBeast episode before he'd slowly disappear from the channel. Well, only a month after being seen in the I filled my brother's house with slime and bought him a new one video, Jake Weddle would upload a piece of content to his personal channel titled Why I Left MrBeast, in which he'd explain that he'd resigned from the team so he could pursue stand-up comedy under his own name.
I found myself kind of, I guess, losing passion for what I was doing. I'm doing stand-up basically full-time now.
Weddle went on to explain that his relationship with MrBeast had ended peacefully.
Me and Jimmy actually left on very good terms. I met with Jimmy before I left. He understood where I was coming from. I understood where he was coming from.
Which is supported by the fact that Weddle came back about a year later for 2 cameo appearances on the channel. However, there's a different MrBeast member who only managed to feature in one video before getting fired. Sneeko. Now, to avoid any unnecessary...
We don't fucking like Sneeko, so I mean, I'm just being honest.
Damage to MrBeast's image here, we need to specify that this was back in 2018, long before Sneeko had the reputation that he has now. Back then, Sneeko's content consisted of deeply meaningful, unbiased videos, which featured a unique editing style more advanced than almost anyone else on the platform. Anybody who was a fan of...
You too. Have a good night.
Sneeko at the time can vouch for how incredible his videos were, and with this in mind, it's really no wonder that MrBeast gave him a shot on the team. Sneeko made his first appearance in the I Built a Working Car Using Only Legos video. However, as explained by another video uploaded to Sneeko's personal channel titled The Most Important Lesson I Learned Working for MrBeast, his employment didn't last for very long.
I started working for MrBeast 2 years ago. It didn't last long because I got caught up with my ego, and this was during a time when I wasn't uploading on YouTube at all.
Sneeko maintained a level of respect toward MrBeast even after leaving the team. However, the same can't be said for Marcus Pearson, who became...
Alright, chat. If there are any chats still watching, I'll be right back. I'm gonna head to the restroom right quick and get some water. So, I'll be back shortly. We are back. We are back. Alrighty.
Became the most controversial firing in MrBeast history. When Marcus was first introduced to the channel back in 2019, he quickly became a fan favorite. However, after being featured in the MrBeast Christmas special that very same year, Marcus stopped appearing in any of the videos.
Well,
5 months
damn.
later in May 2020, a fan would ask on Marcus's TikTok, "When you coming back to MrBeast challenges?" To which he'd respond to ask him,
Oh, fuck. Okay.
implying that maybe Marcus had been left in the dark about his future involvement on the channel. Approximately 3 months later, in August 2020, Marcus was officially removed from the team, although unlike most of the other MrBeast members, Marcus didn't leave peacefully.
So I gotta destroy him, bro. So I'm gonna destroy you, bro. I'm gonna destroy you eternally. For a long ass time, you gonna feel this. You gonna feel this tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. You ain't gonna forget about this.
Marcus would take to Instagram and post a 12-minute story in which he'd make some absolutely delusional claims, such as MrBeast started the pandemic.
He started this pandemic for a reason.
Marcus was a leader whilst MrBeast was a follower.
I was born a leader and he was born a follower. He was stealing sauce. I was borrowing sauce and paying homage, you feel me?
Before going on to state that he thought MrBeast was a broken person for firing him.
The only conclusion that I can make is that he's broken somewhere else. That's the only conclusion that I can come up with.
Well, it seemed like Marcus's goal
Marcus, you sound like delusional as shit. You are not helping our claims. You're not helping the case.
Was to discredit MrBeast. The only person he seemed to discredit was himself, given Marcus's rant was so delusional and unfounded that it just made him look like an idiot. It's been stated all around the internet that Marcus was fired because of unacceptable behavior and a drug problem, although...
Ooh. Ooh. Was he tweaking then? Go back to sleep if you need sleep. Was he tweaking? Was Marcus tweaking?
There's no evidence anywhere to support these claims. MrBeast stated in a
Oh, it's a rumor, so yeah.
podcast that their revenue dropped massively at the start of the pandemic, and the more likely reality was that Marcus was fired to save money on wages during a tough economic time. Marcus maintains an Instagram following of around 75,000, yet he's only made one post in the last 2 years, showing that his rant against MrBeast also marked the end of his online career.
Well, fuck. Maybe, don't be an idiot. Maybe don't be an idiot. There are only a few people that haven't been, haven't received backlash for this. Alright, so this next one, I don't know if this one is true. This was already in my playlist. I was informed that MrBeast has said slurs in a few instances. We're gonna see if that's true. I'm gonna look into it. Or after these 2 videos, we're gonna do some digging on our own.
Selling N-word for $400 money? The most I would pay is like $300. Sorry, $400 is just out of my price range for that.
Whoa. Whoa. Jimmy. What the fuck was that? What the fuck?
That type of stuff. QQ, shut the fuck up, you stupid faggot.
Bruh.
If the video was lived, how would I call you a stupid faggot?
What the fuck? These are pulled from our what the actual fuck?
Exactly. It's not lewd, fucking dumbass. N-word, 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 N-word. Thanks, Hassan, for the donation. I appreciate it. No more, no, boys. No more typing the N-word in chat. No more cursing. Selling 10.
There's no way. You're not gonna actually read that, are you?
for $69 each. That's a steep price. I don't think you're gonna get any sales. I'm kidding.
Bro. What the actual fuck? Those were pulled from his lives. Okay, I can definitely see why. That was just straight up from the source. Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere. This better be good. This better be good.
Red Carpet Rhea, your go-to channel for all the latest in the entertainment and influencer world. Today we're...
This is a fucking tabloid. This one, however, I'm gonna look back at this one.
Selling.
Okay. 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 Hold on. When this was this during this was during the fidget spinner, so this is like 09? Maybe. This was 2009, which, I mean, it was a different time back then, but that's not excusing it. You know? That's not excusing it. I need to look through these comments. Okay, 8 years ago. So in 2018. In 2018? Then yeah, this is still not okay. Alright, fuck. Dolan Dark. Dolan Dark.
Introducing our most advanced.
Welcome back to Slop.
Okay. So this is talking about the dog pack and Rosanna Pansino shit.
Live. If you saw my video yesterday, an old MrBeast group chat leaked with some very questionable messages. One of these, which is apparently MrBeast recommending an animator Chris, where a high schooler has a romantic relationship with a 28-year-old. And the main one of Chris Tyson sharing a photo which was potentially CP and wondering why it was still online.
I want to know why Rosanna and Dogpack.
Now, this update actually comes.
I want to know why Rosanna and Dogpack thought it was okay. If they thought this was CSAM material, why they had it and why they were looking at it. Why were they, why were they fucking doing that? That sounds like some Plague Moth type shit. That pisses me the fuck off. Like, how the fuck? I have to edit I have to literally edit a portion where they are looking at an Animal Crossing house with nothing but right-angled plus signs, if you catch my drift. I don't know if I can say the word. You know, from a certain German period in the 1940s. And I'm just like, why would you think this is okay to show on YouTube? Let alone have.
From Dogpack himself, but it turns out the photo was from a magazine photo shoot, and Ivanka was 18 at the time. Though obviously Christian have shared this regardless, considering the age wasn't known at the time. But I think that means the report...
I'm sure people will flip and say I should have reverse image searched before.
...to the FBI about this group chat may have been a little overblown. And one of the more insane things that was pointed out to me was... Obviously, when Dogpack and Rosanna ran this video, they 100% believed this photo was an underage girl. But it turns out in the original thumbnail for her video, she has it badly censored in the thumbnail. Like, is that insane to anyone else? You have a photo of an underage girl, which you believe is illegal, and you use it as clickbait in a thumbnail. It has been updated now to be completely blurred, but yeah. And it was also pointed out in my comments that the anime wasn't actually about a high schooler having a romantic relationship with an adult.
Hige Hero. Oh, shit.
So unless I missed something, it seems the group chat was more just...
We're gonna do some digging, chat. Sound good? I want to know. What is Hige Hero about? Okay. Wikipedia. Okay, it's a light novel. Young, handsome salaryman Yoshida has finally gathered up the courage to confess his feelings for his employer and longtime crush, Airi Goto. Sadly, though, he ended up rejected and goes out drinking with his coworker / best friend Hashimoto to relieve himself of his sorrows. While heading back home in a drunken state, he meets Sayu Ogiwara, a teenage high school girl who asks to spend the night with him. He lets her in out of pity because he's too exhausted to argue, saying to himself that he will chase her out tomorrow. The next day, now sober up, Yoshida asks Sayu how she ended up at his apartment. She reveals that she had run away from her family and home in Hokkaido and had been selling herself to random men in exchange for a place to stay. My question is, did she sell herself to Yoshida? That's what I want to know. Because that is where it's going to be for me. Okay. Yoshida and Sayu reveal their feelings to each other. How old is fucking Sayu? I know how the ages are with, you know, certain things, but I got it. How old is Sayu Ogiwara in Hige Hero? $17. Okay. I can see why some people would be concerned, but at the same time, we also have to think about there's nothing, from what I saw, there was nothing intimate between them two in the anime. It's more of a kind of slice of life. Oh, that anime is nice, but it gets weird. Where'd your comment go? Oh, you retracted it. You want to tell me about it for a second? I don't know what happened. What happened to your message? So does it get weird? Hold on. Is Hige Hero good? Alright, r/anime. We're gonna check that. Spoiler. It was used mostly to show how little Sayu value. Okay, I've seen people complain that there's too much fan service, but the fan service I thought was done very well. It was used mostly to show how little Sayu values her body. Getting naked in front of someone isn't a big deal to her, which is why Yoshida scolds her every time she does it. The relationship between the two main leads, I'm glad they kept their relationship non-sexual and show repeatedly the boundary is clear between the two. There's some risque scenes near the end, like sharing a bed together, but it never felt more than a one-sided approach. It's a bit melodramatic. There's the harem, which is heavily pushed around the middle of the series. Goto, Yuza, and Sayu all make their feelings clear. At some point, they like Yoshida. Was this needed? I don't know how the light novel treats it, but Yuzua seems out of place in the anime. There's some iffy moments, but for the most part, the show is a good watch. Not everyone's cup of tea, and the plot alone will turn people off, but if you could put that aside, it's over-criticized. Yoshida was too good of a guy to take advantage of Sayu. Okay. So it is a complex situation. Only if she wasn't a minor. Yeah, that's the part that's really getting me right now. I'm not gonna hold you. That's the part that's really confusing the fuck out of me. I have a feeling that that is where they're really looking into this. They're only focusing on the fact that it has a weird plot and a minor character, but they didn't do any further digging, which is typical of Dogpack and Rosanna Pansino. We just went and dug through it. It's very weird, but it doesn't seem like it focuses on any sexual interaction between the two main leads, one of which is a minor at the time of the start of the series.
Just edgy memes posted by Chris. Thanks for slopping by.
Ugh. We already went over this one in part 1, but I needed to know what was being said. If you haven't seen the Omegon video, you can either check it out or watch my part 1 stream on Twitch. But, yeah.
So just over a week ago now, Mr. B said...
This better be good. This better be, something substantial. Because otherwise I'm gonna be pissed.
Announced a brand new challenge where all you had to do was download this app where hundreds of thousands of people would be competing to see who could hold their finger on their screen the longest.
Okay.
And in the end, this entire challenge became a complete disaster. I mean, even the first place winner who won this entire challenge did not get paid or contacted by Mr. Beast. So as you can see, Mr. Beast announced this challenge through Twitter about a week ago now. And in this tweet, he said, last to take their finger off the app wins $25,000. The challenge begins in 8 days and it's very simple. Download this app, have your finger on the screen when the timer hits 0, and you could win $25,000 if you're the last remaining. And obviously,
like, it's not oh, it's a chance to win $25,000. It's if you are the last one, you win it.
Millions of people jumped at the opportunity here. I couldn't find an official player count number, but according to this screenshot, almost half an hour in, there was still well over 1 million players competing. So I mean, that's just ridiculous. That really gives you an idea of the scale of this whole thing. There was over 1 million people that were serious enough about this whole competition to hold their finger down on the screen for almost half an hour. I mean, if you're competing in this for almost 30 minutes, you're pretty invested, you know? If you're just you know, doing it for fun, you're probably quitting after 5 to 10 minutes max. Now, with that being said, even off the rip, this entire competition was a disaster because as soon as the competition started, there was people that were just getting kicked off the app. There was people that were following the rules perfectly, you know, doing nothing wrong, and then the app would just kick them off and it said, "You lost." And this was—
What the fuck? No, they did them dirty. They did them real dirty. What the fuck kind of shit is that? Huh? Oh no, y'all got me fucked up. If I ever play a game like that and it boots me off and I get kicked out of the competition, nah, we gonna see some hands. We gonna see some hands.
Wasn't like a one-off thing either, because as you can see here, this tweet has 1.8 thousand likes, and it says, well, the app was kicking people out even though they were active and had their finger on the app. How about we start with that first?
Yeah.
This was not an issue that was resolved after a couple minutes or anything. This was actually still happening to people hours into the competition. This tweet here says, I'm so upset. I did not let my finger up at all and it glitched me out. I was feeling so confident. This isn't right. 4 hours deep for the game to cut out on me, man. So there's literally people that would sit here for hours competing into this challenge. They would give up 4 hours of their day just with the hope that they might win this $25,000 just for the game to glitch out and make them lose. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. You'd think for a $25,000 competition, the app would be a little more well-made. You know, they would make sure that hours in, you wouldn't just get randomly kicked out of the game. Now, this next part isn't even a problem on the side of, you know, Mr. Beast or the makers of the app or anything like that, but obviously a ton of the people that were competing in this challenge were live streaming it on Twitch and YouTube, and there would be people that would, you know, follow them or just go inside of their stream chat with the name Z-Re, and whenever the streamer would thank them for the follow or say what's up to them or whatever, it would activate their Surrey and make them lose the entire competition. So here's a—
What the fuck? That's dirty. That's dirty.
Clip of somebody doing this to a streamer 3 hours into the competition.
Wait, did we get any new followers? Oh, hey Z-Re, I appreciate the— Oh my god!
I don't know what that means.
Bruh. Are you fucking kidding me? Bruh. Are you fucking kidding me? Holy shit.
Oh no.
Fucking kidding me? Why would that be your name on Twitch?
Now, obviously, that's not the end of the problems that came with this challenge. The most disastrous part of this whole situation was when Mr. Beast put up this tweet today. After almost 3 days, it was about 2 days and 21 hours when this tweet went up. Mr. Beast—
Mind you, this is 4 years old.
He said, "Dear the 4 remaining contestants with your finger still on the app, I'm ending it here. 3 days is insane. You all win and will receive $25,000. Congrats."
That says $200,000, but the commas are wrong.
Congratulations. Now, from the outside looking in, there's no problem with that, you know.
That said $200,000. Have you watched the Carrie Minotti Mr. Beast parody? No. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
There's 4 remaining contestants. He probably doesn't want any of them to get hurt or something. I mean, they've all gone almost 3 days without any sleep. But the problem here was there was actually 3 people still in this competition that live streamed almost the entire thing. They had been live streaming almost 3 days straight, and they just received nothing. They weren't contacted by Mr. Beast. They're not receiving $20,000. They get nothing. And this is 3 of the 4 final people in this competition. The screenshot that you're seeing on the screen right now, this is the first place winner. This guy live streamed almost the entire 3 days. Mr. Beast actually acknowledged him earlier in the competition, and this guy ended up getting first place. He won the entire competition on live stream, and he is winning nothing for it. So after a couple hours here, Mr. Beast tweeted, all 4 winners have been contacted and will get their money. Lots of people time traveled, messing with their settings, and are acting like they won. Don't worry, we confirmed the actual winners through the back end, and they have all been contacted. And the thing is, like I said, there's 3 people who have been streaming this whole competition live that are still in it, and obviously you can argue the fact that they've been faking it on live stream, but the thing is, why would they fake it by live streaming in their room for 3 days straight instead of just actually participating in the competition for 3 days? You know, if you're gonna go through the trouble of acting like you're doing it for 3 days straight on live stream, why wouldn't you just actually do it? That would make no sense whatsoever. Plus, these guys are literally sitting here for 3 days straight, interacting with the chat, showing their screen multiple times. But first off, I'm gonna show you guys the clip of the first place winner's reaction where he thinks he's winning the money. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the first place winner's reaction whenever he...
I love how nothing. It's just a fun video. Oh, okay. I mean, if you do want to show it, you know, I'll take a look at it. But I still got to get through all of this right now.
Realizes that first of all he thinks he won $20,000, and then you're also going to see his reaction once he realizes that he's not getting contacted by Mr. Beast and he didn't win $20,000. You know, he pretty much just got cheated out of $20,000 even though he just spent the last 72 hours on live stream competing in this challenge.
Yo, there's only one left. That's me. Am I the only one left?
I don't know, bro. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I called him back. Okay, apparently we have to let go because Mr. Beast is trying to call.
Yes, dude. Let go.
Alright, guys. Here it is. There's almost 2,000 people watching this. 3, 2, 1. 2 days, 22 hours, 55 minutes, and 22 seconds.
They just said they all have been contacted.
What the fuck?
What?
So he still had his finger on.
I have hours of live stream of me sitting here. No fucking way, dude. I'll literally freak the fuck out. We've been live streaming for days.
So I mean, obviously you have to feel bad for these guys. Like I said, they just spent 72 hours on.
They were on stream, and Mr. Beast decided, oh, you know, you didn't actually fucking win. What the fuck?
Live stream, they think they just won $20,000 and they just did it all for nothing. They're getting $0 out of this. And all 3 of these streamers' links are going to be in the description and the pinned comment here. So make sure to go follow them and, you know, like some of their tweets replying to Mr. Beast, because clearly their quote back-end system here is just entirely flawed. Now here's a second clip from a streamer known as Uzi, and this is his reaction where he reads Mr. Beast's tweet where he says the final remaining contestants get $20,000 each. So this is Uzi's reaction to thinking he just won $20,000 until he realizes that, you know, he's not getting contacted by Mr. Beast. Once again, he's not winning $20,000, all because I guess their quote back-end system didn't have him as one of the top 4 contestants, even though he competed in the entire challenge in front of thousands of people on live stream.
Bro, they did you so dirty, bro.
So there's Uzi thinking he just won $20,000, and then this was him on Twitter a couple hours later after confirming that he would not be winning anything for this competition. Uzi said, real quick before I go to bed, these last few days have been absolutely amazing. Even though my hand is absolutely killing me, I do not regret it at all. Winner or not, I'm not exactly sure what's going on right now, but apparently my account was fake or invalid or something. So this dude just stayed up for almost 72 hours straight with no sleep. He stayed here staring at this screen, competing in this challenge, and he won nothing, and he can't even get a clear and concise answer as to why he's not getting his $20,000. It just has to be this.
That is so fucked up, dude. You're just doing people dirty at that point. Nah, y'all got me fucked up. If that shit happened to me, we would be having some words.
This kind of mystery, and he actually somehow was just positive about this whole situation, which is ridiculous. I feel like after most people realizing they just got cheated out of $20,000 in 72 hours of their life,
no, I'd be mad.
Be this positive about it, but
I'd be mad.
I've never streamed a day in my life before today, but you all made me feel so at home. It's like I had 700 best friends all cheering me on. I can't imagine spending that time any other way. We laughed and joked the whole time, and I met some really nice and generous people. And like I said, the dude's tweeting stuff like this after he just got cheated out of $20,000. I mean, it's crazy. He lost 3 days of sleep, and he's sitting here saying it was a good time because he got to talk to his stream chat. Now here's the final streamer known as...
I mean, I genuinely enjoy my chat. I don't understand what's wrong with that. I like my chat. I like the people that are in my chat. I genuinely do. I mean, bro, I have like 57 followers on Twitch after doing this for 2 years, and even though it's not that much, I love each and every single one of those chatters. I appreciate what they do. I have 130 subscribers on here, and I appreciate every single thing that they do. Y'all deserve the world for just spending time here with me. I can understand that sentiment. I really can.
As Check It Up. And this guy, once again, same situation as the other two streamers. He streamed the entire thing live, and he confirmed with a screenshot of his screen time here that he was on the app for 74 hours and 12 minutes straight. And you know, no contact from Mr. Beast, no $20,000. He just wasted his time. So I mean, that's wild. This entire challenge for Mr. Beast, it flopped. These people got cheated out of $20,000. Hopefully he contacts these people, but so far he hasn't even put out a statement. I mean, there's replies under his tweets about this that have thousands of likes, and he's just ignoring it so far. So I can only imagine it's on purpose at this point. But
I mean, it could be, Oh, so the Android users didn't even really get to participate. I see a lot of apps like this one, so I mean, I'm kind of not surprised. Even if it was run by a third party featuring Mr. Beast, it still has his name on the brand. I think a lot of people don't understand that.
In the military.
I did not take the finger. I did not take my finger. Bro, it's bullshit. I did not take my finger.
13 hours of my life wasted because of the glitch. Don't really see how it's possible Jimmy can do anything to make up for the time and frustration from many people who inconvenienced their life for this challenge.
What the happened? I just died.
I quit my job for this challenge and my lives glitched out. So who's hiring?
We just glitched out? Yep. We just glitched out and it instantly went to Mr. Beast YouTube.
I trusted you, Mr. Beast. I'm so disappointed in you.
I guess I just lose like that. Yeah, no, whoever was right, yeah, I just lost, yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 is less glitchy than that.
Look at that, look at that. My finger was literally on it. I was moving the whole time.
I got glitched out and I cried my eyes out for a long ass time. Truly felt scammed and humiliated.
Oh my god, I did have 2 lives left.
Jesus.
There's two things that Mr. Beast is known for: giving away a lot of money and having a vast array of incredibly intelligent ideas. Video ideas, business ideas, challenge ideas, even mobile app ideas. And it's safe to say that most of the time, Mr. Beast executes these ideas to near perfection. However, with failure being an unavoidable part of the creative process, even someone as successful as Mr. Beast will still have to occasionally deal with an absolute flop of a project.
I mean, yeah, but you're also gonna receive the fucking backlash for it. I'm sorry, but if you haven't, did you in Mischief fucking playtest that app before you fucking put it out? Or did you just make it on the fucking fly? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
The Finger on the App Challenge. In the beginning, the concept itself was a fantastic idea with incredibly simple rules. You download the app developed by Beast Games, wait for Mr. Beast to announce commencement, and the last person to take their finger off the app wins a cash prize. The first competition, known as the Finger on the App Challenge 1, was held back on the 30th of June 2020 with a first place prize of $25,000 cash. The challenge began with 1,122,000 players, and besides from a few small iPhone related problems such as Siri accidentally making people lose.
Are you serious?
Oh, hey Z-Ree, I appreciate the... Oh my god!
Hey Z-Ree.
After 70 hours, there were 4 players remaining, and instead of letting them play it out until someone died from sleep deprivation, Mr.
I still think that Twitch user did people really, really dirty. Like, come on now.
Beast decided to give out $20,000 to each of the 4 remaining players, a total prize of $80,000 instead of the originally planned $25,000. Mr. Beast's generosity, the relative smoothness of the event, and the overall satisfaction from the competitors ultimately labeled the original Finger on the App Challenge as a general success, to the extent that hosting a second Finger on the App Challenge might be feasible in the future. On the 15th of March 2021, Mr. Beast would tweet out, "Whoever is the last to take their finger off my new app wins $100,000. The challenge starts in 6 days, and literally all you have to do is hold your finger on the app, LOL, download here."
And whoever takes their finger off the app last wins $100,000 in cash.
The Finger on the App 2 challenge had been announced. Mr. Beast had quadrupled the prize money from $25,000.
Wow. 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 Much money.
To 100,000. He had gained a whopping 17 million subscribers in the 9 months since the first Finger on the App challenge, and Mr. Beast's reputation was at an all-time high. There was no way this event could be less successful than the first. I mean, honestly, what could possibly go wrong?
It got worse.
Well, from the second the challenge begun, there were problems. The Finger on the App 2 challenge had only 1,235,000 players at the 9-minute mark, and while still an incredibly impressive number, it was only 100,000 or 10% more than the first Finger on the App challenge, which had 1,122,000 at the 9-minute mark. Considering Jimmy was offering 400% more in prize money while also having an extra 17 million fans, a player count increase of only 10% was likely somewhat underwhelming for Mr. Beast and the team. However, as time progressed, it would be discovered that the quantity of the players was really only the beginning of the problems associated with the challenge. The next thing to be dealt with were the glitches.
How did I just lose a life?
Did your finger slip?
No, absolutely not.
Doesn't seem fair. Finger never left the screen. Apparently lots of people were kicked off at the same time. Would like an explanation why the game had froze like that.
I lost?
That is insane. That is insane, chat. What the fuck? It's even worse than the first one.
I don't know. I never let my finger go. I don't know why I just lost, but okay. How did I lose?
Terrible. Maybe the game should be fixed so people don't waste their time because the game glitches on. Kinda sad. Wow, very disappointing.
Bro, do you see that?
That's so dumb!
No, I'm on it! Wait.
Being kicked from the app or losing lives randomly seemed to be the most prominent glitches. And it didn't seem like it was just a few unlucky players that this happened to. Many people had a similar problem.
Mr. Beast,
what the fuck?
I was playing normally, right? At 6 hours. I had 3 hearts right here. I was doing just fine, playing legitly with my chat. Okay, now watch this. What? Like what?
What is that?
How does someone move their finger like that?
Yeah, and it's going on and on.
There is no sweat on the screen. This is... That's just... Come on, this has to be addressed, man.
Mr. Beast.
It needs to be if you're going to make an app and you're going to have a cash prize, you need to make sure that your app is functional enough to handle it.
This would then take to Twitter stating that, I see lots of you saying you had problems and trust me, we're looking into it. From what I've seen so far, most are genuinely connection based. If you miss 3 pings, you're kicked, or accidentally touching with a different finger. If we find a glitch though, I will share. I'm sorry. Mr. Beast was very much correct with the accidental touching of a different finger, as when we see various streamers losing, what? We can see that sometimes this was the actual cause of the loss. However, this didn't really explain the clips where there were clearly no fingers in the way of the device. Beast Games stated that there are a few potential reasons. Firstly, many of these were likely due to touchscreen sensitivity plus moisture and other factors. Secondly, some people who were streaming may have been connected to their cell service instead of Wi-Fi, or even switching between the two. And while this certainly cleared the developers of any wrongdoing in the short term, all it seemed to do was make players even angrier, considering many felt as though they were just trying to avoid responsibility for the poorly developed app. So you would rather blame it on the touchscreen of his device rather than your game? So I guess everyone who's had this same problem just has touchscreen issues? LeMayo, I think it's more likely that your game is messed up.
Yeah,
However,
precisely.
There was something the players could do to offset these glitches to some extent. They could buy more lives for a price of $6.99 so that if they did get hit with a glitch or two, they would still be in the game. But as you might expect, there were also problems with this element of the challenge. Was in at 3 hours and all 3 lives I bought were glitched out. Never took my finger off, never glanced away from my phone. Also, it
Oh, it's overcharging people. Oh, hell no. It's overcharging people too. What kind of bullshit is that? What the hell? Nah, you doing too much at that point. Shut it down.
took $14.96 out of my account, not $6.99. Buying extra lives seemed to be a total waste of time as a whole, because if the game was going to glitch you out for one of your lives, it was certainly likely that it was going to glitch you out for all 3. However, the problem with buying extra lives seemed to be that they were never even added to the accounts for a vast quantity of the players who had gone to the effort of purchasing them. So buying extra lives does nothing at Mr. Beast. Bought 3 and didn't get any. Okay, but what about those of us who had lives, didn't get them, so we got out because we didn't have the lives? The explanation from Beast Games was somewhat reasonable and made a lot of sense, stating that the reason many players hadn't received their lives was because they purchased them too close to the start of the competition, and the Google or Apple Store simply didn't have time to process them before the commencement of the event. However, this didn't really explain why the app was overcharging people upon the purchase of extra lives. As mentioned previously, one Twitter user stated that the game took $14.96 out of their account rather than $6.99. However, this can't be verified, and no one else complained about such a problem besides this one tweet, so it might be total bogus. Perhaps it had something to do with the players in Mexico or Canada, and there was an increase due to currency conversion or a premium for the players competing in another country. But to the credit of Beast Games, they were incredibly willing to refund numerous purchases, which was respectable in comparison to a scenario where they might simply disappear with the extra money. If you purchase lives and they didn't seem to work, we are happy to refund them. Please DM us if you would like a refund. And while refunding the money...
My boyfriend's home, chat. Hi, baby. How's work? That's good. Alright, chat. So, I gotta go run errands and take care of some stuff. We will be back later tonight for part 3. Promise. But I got